Good day to you, partner. I'm Dee, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
Hey guys, Weed Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. So, this is the fastest summoner run that I know of in PD2. I forget what my best time was in beta. I'm sure you could just look at the videos and go back to the history, but I don't care that much. And I think this was more impressive than that. I really wish I would have played more with Ghoul Lords. I think actually my best time was with pre-nerf Moon Lords. Maybe the Ghoul Lord was better, I can't remember. But this is a continuation of the build we were showing, and it's a continuation of the ideas that we learned in beta. We learned that archers are insane. So the auras we've got buffing archers right now, by the way, it's Fanaticism and Might, obviously the Archer ST might be on that last episode. There's a Heart of the Wolverine providing a slight damage buff, but for archers, a slight damage buff is actually a pretty big deal, because they're probably like 1,000 base or 1,400 base, so like another 100% damage is insane, or like, what, level 12 Heart of the Wolverine is like 60% damage, pretty close to that, maybe 50% damage, so that's another 600 damage. The Heart of the Wolverine just died right there. Let's see. Well, he puts it back pretty quickly. We got the Might, T-Might, Fanaticism, Faith. By the way, I did show that Fanaticism decreases or increases the cast speed of council members. I wouldn't say it's like 100% guaranteed, but I would say beyond a reasonable doubt, Fanaticism will make your revives commit their actions quicker than without it. Same with Vigor. I even think Vigor helps ranged enemies. I kind of talked about that a bit. The big differences between this build and the build from the last video is we've got 3 golems. Part of the reason for why we have 3 golems is we've got a Iron Golem made from Eternity. So the last video didn't have an Iron Golem out of Eternity, and that's the biggest change. I mean, some of the skill distribution is a little bit different. So last video there was kind of a skill point dump into Mastery. That's gone. We put 9 more points into Golem or actually 10 points into Golem Mastery and 1 point into Clay, Blood, and Iron. And so we got the 2 Clay Golems out. I think Clay Golems will do more for you than Blood. I mean, the idea was for Splash, just to have that Stomp be a little stronger. And as you can see, I actually think the Stomp is noticeably better in this video than the last one. Sure, your warriors are a bit worse, but with the fact that you have no points into warriors, I actually think an additional golem is going to be a way bigger increase in damage than a few points in the Skeleton Mastery. In fact, I think even if you had like maxed out skeleton warriors, man, an additional golem for 4 skill points is pretty good. Like, warriors are better than golems. Don't get it twisted. But is 5 skill points in the Golem Mastery better than 5 points in the Skeleton Mastery? Yes. I think this shows that here, even with this build. So the archers have a bit less health. Remember, archers do not gain damage from Skeleton Mastery. The mages are a bit weaker. I would say the damage is very minimal. You're losing, some ED, like 160 ED, and like 16 base damage, which should be almost nothing for a skeleton mage. Maybe a few hundred damage at tops, maybe like 400. I can't see it being much higher than that, which for, 8 minions is a big deal. But the fact is, we're adding 2 additional clay golems that are each popping around 3,000 damage each. So that's a pretty nice chunk. The iron golem, the clear is much quicker. And as you can see, I actually think the amount of his clear looks higher in this video than the last video. And what he says is when he actually went through the map after he finished, to pick up some stuff, kind of see what it looked like. He said there was like 13 monsters left alive, and basically those hydras, they'll live a little bit longer. So I actually think we might be able to push this a little bit faster. I think it would be kind of a weird test to kind of get the right point, the right middle ground between speed and consistency. But I mean, when you're going for clear speed, you don't play optimally, in the sense that, if something good drops, you're going to have to go back and get it anyways. So for the purposes of pure clear speed, I think why not? Let's try and go a little bit quicker and see if we can maybe do a sub 630. Think you go quicker than that? I think it might be quicker than Corpse Explosion, which is kind of insane. But I don't think it'll ever be quicker than Poison. I mean, because if you kind of just look at the way the Hydras are casted, it's not going to be quicker than Poison, Nova Warp, Poison, Nova Warp. At best, I think this will be about Corpse Explosion speed, which is basically you have a really hard time getting sub 6 with Corpse Explosion, which is something I'd like to try and do before the season is over. So maybe sub 630. Other maps you can do, well, you can kind of do any map as a summoner, but some bosses are whack. And even for summons, they're kind of whack. Like, they'll stun your summons, cast Blizzard, and you'll die or they'll die. Not the warriors, but, you don't want your archers to die. So, like, you can do every map. Some bosses you can't do. I think you can... I don't even know if you can do the Wahid. I'm not positive about that. So I would just be concerned about it. But you can definitely do Throne. You can do this. A few Thrones were about as quick as River of Blood. They basically are anyways. Real quickly through the gear. We're using a Phoenix Shield, which might not be the fastest. It's definitely the most smooth feeling. So for anyone actually interested in this build, I recommend doing a Phoenix at some point. So we got the Infinity Iron Golem. We got the Phoenix. We got the Eternity. Now, order of most importance, Eternity is the most important item in this build. After that, you just need to stack all of your skills as much as possible. There's an Iron Golem who says he's got a little bit of health down. I don't know if that actually matters. That's really weird. It's an interesting little screen of his. Basically, I played around with Iron Golems as well. He will never die. I've never had one die unless I've died. Other people have said their Iron Golems have died. I don't know if there's something else going on. But basically, with a high character level and some Golem mastery, he basically should never die. Probably the Faith and the T-Mite. Now, you'd probably get Faith and T-Mite first, because just why wouldn't you? They're just great items. CTA is incredibly important. It always is for summoners, guys. Don't skip it. Skill points. We got 20 in the Mages, Archers, Revives. 20 in the CM, 10 Golem Mastery, pretty much 1 point everywhere else. Is that for sure the best? I think there could still be some tweaks to skill points, but for the most part, that's pretty close to near optimal. Alright guys, Skelly King out. GG.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Come and play with us. Come and play with us, Daddy.